If you're into personal development or transformation of any kind, either for yourself personally or as a coach, you have to understand what a breakthrough actually is. And most people don't. Most people take the welcome signs as warning signs. And that's one of the reasons why people don't actually experience breakthroughs, is because they misunderstand the process. And if they misunderstand the process, they misunderstand the signs. And if they misunderstand the signs, they talk themselves out of it. So in this video, I'm gonna break down for you the anatomy of a true breakthrough. So if you're wanting a breakthrough for yourself, you gotta know what it looks like so you can recognize the signs of when you're ready for it and when you're actually going through the process. And then if you're a transformational coach, of course you need to understand what a breakthrough looks like so you can facilitate them with your clients. Now what you're about to listen to is a segment from a group discussion where we were talking about what before the breakthrough actually looks like. It'll be intriguing and super valuable for you, I guarantee it. Hey everybody, I want to share with you an exchange that I just had with somebody that is getting ready to come to our 5-day certification event in a couple weeks. And she said that she's been just having weird things happening, weird feelings in her body, weird thoughts going on, and she just wanted my take on it. And what we talked about going back and forth is just so critical to understand when it comes to true breakthroughs. See, most people misinterpret their body's preparation for a breakthrough. And because they misinterpret the process, they mess it up. Let me explain to you what I mean. When our bodies and our brains know that we're going to experience a breakthrough, they're not excited about that, right? There's a piece of us that's massively excited about it, but the majority of our being, which is committed to protection and fearing the unknown and all that stuff, they're not excited about that. So what happens when we get to the edge of the comfort zone, what I call the warning track, similar to baseball, right before you get to the outfield wall, is our bodies start to freak out a little bit. Our brains start to freak out a little bit. And we start coming up with reasons that we shouldn't go through with this. If it's an event or private coaching or whatever it is that we just committed to. The things that are actually going to do the most good for us will usually be met with pretty significant resistance because we know we're going to get stretched. And the piece of us that is committed to comfort and safety doesn't like the idea that we're going to get stretched. But then there's another piece of us that's craving it because we know we don't want to be stuck here. So it's those two pieces that collide against each other. It's like a little clash of the titans. We have this desperate soul desire to break free from our comfort zone. And then we've got this intellectual commitment to stay right where we are in our comfort zone for the rest of our lives because we don't like to even think about what might be beyond those walls. And it's that desire bumping up against, colliding with the fears that produce the irritation and the turbulence and the negative head talk and all the things that are uncomfortable for us, and they feel so disruptive. But you got to understand, we're moistening the soil. We're getting ready to break through, but most people misinterpret the body's preparation for a breakthrough. Because it's uncomfortable, most people go, well, I don't like this feeling of discomfort, so let me do anything that I can to stop it. And the way that you stop the discomfort is you stop the progress toward the breakthrough. And that's really sad. That's when people back out of things that they know they want to do. That's when people purchase things and then they ask for the refund. That's when people have a big idea about writing a book or doing something that they've always wanted to do, and then they allow the doubts and the thoughts to squash the flame. That's what most humans do with the disruption because we're so committed to avoiding the discomfort, and we don't understand discomfort is a required piece of the recipe. It's a required ingredient before the breakthrough. So here's what I told her that really landed to her. I said, listen, you're just about ready to enter the chrysalis. When a caterpillar gets ready to transform into the butterfly, it enters the chrysalis. You know, the caterpillar actually builds the chrysalis. It just knows now's the time. It's fighting against itself, and at some point it knows, all right, now's the time. It surrenders, and it actually builds the chrysalis that it will then die inside of. So what I said is, listen, you're just getting ready to enter the chrysalis. Your soul knows that this chrysalis is about to propel you forward to another leap, but the caterpillar brain doesn't want you to go in there because it knows it's going to die. That's what's happening. That's this feeling of massive resistance that is a precursor to every single breakthrough, true breakthrough that I've ever experienced personally or that I've ever heard anybody else experience. So when people come up to me, especially at my live events or right before they're going to the live events, and they're like, I feel like I'm going to throw up, I celebrate. I'm like, yes, your body is wanting to throw something up. It's wanting to get out of you the piece that's holding you back. That's a requirement of the process. But because most people misinterpret it, and because most people are more committed to avoiding the necessary disruption that will create the liberation, since most people are more committed to avoiding the discomfort, then they block all of their breakthroughs. And the intellect has a way of convincing us that we should not go forward when the path gets bumpy. When the path gets bumpy, you know you're on your way out of the comfort zone. Don't be afraid of that time. Crave what's on the other side of that disruption. So stop misunderstanding your body's preparation for your breakthrough. And you might be amazed at how quickly you experience your breakthrough. Jenny says our old self dies, and yet we want to hold on to that, right? Because we don't know what that new thing is. But here's the thing. If you knew, if you were able to experience your next level as the butterfly, if you were able to fly around for a few days, a few hours, a few minutes, if you were able to see what you can see as a butterfly and do what you can do as a butterfly, and then I said, okay, that's enough, and I would have wrapped you up and ripped the wings back off and go and make you go through the chrysalis in reverse and put you back into the caterpillar's body, how quickly would you build the chrysalis and voluntarily jump in and be like, take care of this, get rid of this because I want that. But see, caterpillars don't know what it's actually like to be a butterfly. Metaphorically, in our lives, we don't really truly know what's possible in the next chapter. That's why we resist it. That's the only reason, maybe not the only reason, but one of the biggest reasons we resist it, because we don't know what's possible. The more disruption that's coming from your body, the more desire you have to break free. The intensity of the resistance is matching the intensity of the breakthrough and the intensity of the desire that you have to break free of whatever's restricting you right now. But as the intensity increases, most people do whatever they can to quiet it down. And that's the worst thing you can do. If you knew you had food poisoning inside of you, you knew you had something toxic, something poisonous inside of you, and you felt it start to come up, the worst thing you can do is swallow it back down, because all you're doing is swallowing the poison back in your body. And yeah, it doesn't feel good to vomit while we're vomiting, but if something needs to come out, vomiting's the only option. That's what most people are experiencing when it comes to the life that they really want and the breakthroughs that they are attracting into their life. But because they misinterpret the preparation, because they don't like to feel the emotions, they don't like to feel anything negative, they swallow it back down and live with it for the rest of their lives. That's not a better option. Avoiding the short-term discomfort is not a better option when the result of that is living with it for the rest of your life. Even if it was going to be violently uncomfortable, I'd say do it anyway. It's worth it. But it never really is. The only thing that, the main thing that makes it so difficult is our own resistance to it. That's it. It's our own digging in the heels and scratching of the claws and just fighting it every step of the way because we're afraid of the process. And never once have I met anybody, spoken to anyone who actually had a true shift, and then they're like, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have done that. No. The only regrets they have is, I can't believe I fought it for so long. It's the only regrets. So when you feel the emotional disruption, especially if you're up to big things, especially if you have these crazy things called desires and ambition, and then you get met with the discomfort and with the resistance, just remember what I'm telling you. That's the caterpillar brain telling you to please stop because it doesn't know what's on the other side. But the butterfly pull is what's making it so intense inside you. Listen to the pull more than the stop. And what you can experience on this planet is amazing. So I hope this lands with you. The caterpillar brain will hate every single word that I said. It will try to convince you to not pay attention to anything that I'm telling you, because it's more committed to the safety of crawling on the ground as a caterpillar. You know, it's dangerous. You fly up there as butterflies, you might fall down. Caterpillar doesn't understand, has never had wings before. It doesn't understand that when you have wings, you don't need to worry about falling down. It's a whole different mindset completely that the caterpillar quite literally cannot comprehend, because its perspective doesn't hold the space to comprehend what's available and what's possible. So I hope this is igniting your butterfly desires, and I hope you don't fall victim to the caterpillar's fears. This is good shit. This is good shit. Let me know what you think, and keep asking questions if you want to continue the conversation.
Now, if you like this video and you're interested in becoming a master of transformational coaching, go check out that one. It's the entire first module of our online certification program.
This is life-changing content. We're going to dive so deep into human psychology. We're going to dive so deep into the brain, how this machine called our bodies, called our soul, our spirit, how it all works, how it all